I'd like to start off with a question to make sure everyone's awake today. Can anybody tell me what this building is or where it is? Very good. So the Guggenheim in New York is one example of a museum that we hope to one day flip with the app that we're going to present to you today. And of course, as you go through, you'll see that we targeted the museum, but we have a really scalable platform that we're very excited to share with you. So let's begin with just a quick review of how we got to this point today. We started off with a sleeping kid. We'll flash back to that kid in just a minute. And we wanted to wake up this kid and get him really excited about museum content. So how did we get to where we are? It took a lot of teamwork and also a lot of coffee and a lot of running around the library, hiding beacons so that we could sort of test out our app as we were in the development process. But today we have a prototype that we're very excited to share with you. And our path going forward, we hope with some more external support and perhaps some more time to flesh out this app and scale it up and be able to offer it at a range of museums and other content providers as well. All right, so here we go. Sleeping kid, surrounded by an exciting museum full of awesome artifacts that he's too sleepy and disengaged to enjoy, right? We had these Google search results that told us that museums, while very important, are also boring. We don't think that's the case, and we wanted to do something about it. We wanted specifically to gamify museum content and develop a platform that could allow visitors to a museum or to any other campus-type environment to really engage with their surroundings. All right, so what was the idea in terms of how information would flow in this platform? We basically envisioned that curators and perhaps educators would develop content that was tied to educational benchmarks and museum content, essentially delivering questions, quiz games, etc., that were very relevant for students. We then hoped that this would flow through game designers. They would design quizzes and other types of games. One example could be a scavenger hunt to help students engage with this concept in a way that was fun and relevant for them. We hope that visitors to the museum would play these games on site, perhaps even before and after their visit as well, and that they would be able to share their results live in social media, ensuring, of course, global domination. All right, so where are we today? We have a platform that is both mobile and web-based called Museum Quest. Museum, of course, is a sort of a nod to the fact that curiosity may have killed the cat, but it's not going to kill our visitors. We really want to help them engage. And so on the back end of our app, we have a database, which is basically connecting our mobile app on our phones to these things called beacons, which basically transmit signals from a museum exhibit to the app. This back-end database sort of links them all together. We also have a dashboard that's much more user-friendly, where our curators and educators can enter quiz questions. It's a similar format to SurveyMonkey, for those of you who have worked with that tool before. On the front end, we have our beacon, which is sort of the purple rock-looking thing you see here. We have our user, who has a mobile device with the app, and we have museum content. In this case, this is a screenshot of the free speech exhibit at the museum in Washington, D.C. All right, so let's backtrack. How did we get here? We have an amazing team, and actually thank you to everyone on my team for their hard work in this process. We also had some really important raw ingredients, including our Estimode beacons. We had, of course, amazing support from FIA and FIA partners, including Paul Sparrow at the Newseum, Tommy Hada from the Berry School, and some fabulous folks at IRB who helped us get our process through and eventually approved. All right, so how did we start? We basically developed a plan for what we wanted this app to do, and ever since then, that was back in January, we've been working out, fleshing out the details, beta testing it, debugging it. We're still in that process right now, but we're very happy to have some amazing results to share with you today. All right, so this is just sort of a walkthrough of what the pieces of the app look like. This is the Parsemaze backend, so this is basically the backbone of the app, the foundation. This is a database that teachers and curators interact with. It's much more user-friendly, very simple to enter questions. This is a screenshot of the app, and we'll share more of those with you in just a moment. And these are our potential users, right? We have teachers, we have students. This one didn't do so well, but he's going to try harder next time, right? And this is just your general museum visitor. All right, so let me pass it over to Amir here.
So to do so, we had some technological spectrum of devices and platforms that we had to use. And we ended up with this because we had a scalability and ease of use at hand. So we picked Bluetooth beacons, low energy 4s, like devices like this, because they live longer and they give you more accuracy for having an indoor GPS locations. And also, like, you realize if the number of visitors will go high up, so there will be more pings. So you don't want to add more wirings or like power cables into the location of the museum. So that was our first week. Already you see I tested 2 different devices and all the spectrum and everything. And then we also didn't want to go when you enter the museum with so many people probably on the weekend and Wi-Fi will not be that great. All of a sudden the app asks you to download 200 megabytes, 300 megabytes of pictures and voice and videos. This is the case right now of the apps we reviewed for this. So we didn't want to have this. And then also we wanted to be more than one museum. We want to have a platform that works with multiple museums in one app. And also we wanted to give you a tool that, like, by having just one, your experience in Museum A transfers to the Museum B. So like if you like something in natural history in New York, when you come to the DC version of it, he already knows, the app already knows your interest and kind of like helps you navigate through your interest factors. So these are the technological aspects that we had in mind. And this is the museum map, and we try to actually assign different locations. This is basically the platform as of now. Let's see how it works. And we also had very helpful talks with the Post-Grad Museum, and we learned that one, not everyone wants to use social network or be logged in. There is so much restriction and like disinterest in it. So we provided a guest user. Meanwhile, we know the importance of social presence for showing the engagement of the users, visitors, and also the museum itself. Therefore, we provided all possible social networks links to this app. It works as of now. Also, we wanted to help you navigate through the museum. That was another key factor, which this is really a hard piece of this puzzle, but in general, right now, because we expected to have a number of beacons, we can actually help you navigate inside the building with referring you to the map. And last but not least, and very important piece, is that people have different tastes. People have different sort of attitude toward going to a location. So let's say I'm using word by word from what I learned. Some people want to surf, they don't have that much time, they just want to go quickly and see stuff. Some other people want to actually dive into one item much deeper and deeper. And we also have students who want to have a content that is set by some standard and supervised by their educators. And also, like, we also shoot it for some informal education feature that helps you go through. And obviously, this will remember your interest and later on helps you to share it with friends. This is the app as of now. These are all the different aspects of it. So like here you have the login page, and then you have a number of galleries right now in the museum that we worked on available. Then right now that this built is from Friday, that was the deadline for Sunday in PowerPoint. But anyway, so it shows you the map, and then it shows you where you are. So this is basically says which beacon number you are close to for testing. And then for playing, you can pick the level of difficulty of the game. Let's say this is a question, you brought the picture to actually make sense. This is from Berlin Wall exhibit, and the question goes on, and when you get to the end of the number of questions, you get a score. You can go on the same item, which is Berlin Wall, and leave comments. It shows the time of comments, and who left them will be in this new app. This is again Friday version, but anyway. And then, like that comment is added here. I love this exhibit, and it's added here. So it basically is one person experience to this museum. This is a real-time app, like the time and the date and everything. So what we have accomplished is that we provide a scalable platform connected to the API of the beacons, and also it has a front for curators and content providers. The whole thing is in action. The pipeline is at work, and it's ready to use and be scaled up. So our top priority is actually to start testing this app in the location with the visitors, the students, whoever wants to test it, and add more content and more educational questions or like meaningful quizzes that actually make you interact with the location and understand. Let's say these stars are making a galaxy if you look at the items in the museum. And obviously we want to like provide more analytics in terms of like who has spent how much time, and like not specific who, but how much time people spend in front of this exhibit as opposed to other exhibits. So this is a work in hand. So we would love really to have more support from the museums, especially the museum. We had a very great collaboration so far. And yeah, maybe some donors to help us buy more hardware and help us play with this more. Thank you.